Alright, so let's continue here for windows. What we need to do is create window valances. In case you don't know what a window valance is, let me show you a reference image that I just happened to pick up here and find on the internet. Window valance is basically this object that you see up here. See this sort of white wooden object that goes along the top here? It kind of looks like the moldings that we created in a previous volume for the ceilings and for the floors of the house. Basically, windows have something called a valance, and they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and different types. This is just one type here. This one appears to be made out of wood. Okay, so that's what we're going to create right now, is this window valance. So if we look at it, we can get a good idea of how to go ahead and create this thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. This is the way that I'm going to get this thing started. I'm going to start off with a simple box, and that's going to get us going here. So I'm going to create a box. I'm going to turn auto grid off. Don't need it at the moment. I'm just going to create a simple box. And I'm going to take that box and I'm going to use my align tool, and I'm going to align it to say this window shade right there. I'm going to align it in the X, the Z, the Y position, and I'm going to use the options for center and center. Hit OK. So it's aligned with it. Now I'm just going to move it up and kind of just roughly get it into position. And the height, it's a little bit too high at the moment, so I'm going to reduce the height a little bit, something like this maybe. Not going by exact measurements, just kind of making this as I go. Okay, so this I'll place maybe about, I don't know, right here looks pretty good. The height's fine, that stuff is fine. And what I'll do now is I'm just going to convert this thing to an editable poly. Take the back polygon there, move it forward a bit. Now what I want to do is I want to be able to see the walls of the house. Okay, so I'm going to exit isolation mode. There's the blue walls of the house. So I'm going to move this polygon until it goes into the wall just a little bit like that. And that'll be good. This is sticking out a little bit too much, so I'm going to pull it in just a bit. Something like this might work out pretty good. Okay. And it looks like it's still sticking out a little bit. Now I'm just getting too picky with it. Okay, so I'm going to go with something that looks like this. It's going to work out pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to get rid of the wall. I don't want the wall getting in my way and stuff at the moment. So I'm going to take the valance geometry as well as the windows, and I'm going to isolate selection. I'm going to come back here and zoom in on this guy. Okay, so we don't need the back polygon. This one over here in the back is pretty much useless, so we'll get rid of it for now. And I'm going to take the top polygon up here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude this one up. And I'll show you what I'm trying to do. You can see how this thing goes up and then it flares out like that. That's basically what I'm trying to create right now, is sort of that little flare right there. Okay, so I'm going to scale this thing out a little bit like so. Then I'm going to take this edge in the front and I'm going to move it forward like this to create that sort of flare type shape that we're trying to go for. So something that looks like this. It's going to work out pretty good. It looks very similar to the image, so I think that'll work out. I'm going to take that new back polygon we created, get rid of it. We don't need it. And the other thing that I'm going to do over here is I'm going to add a little bit of detail to this. So I'm going to take this edge here, I'm going to grab its ring, I'm going to use my connect tool, and I'm just randomly doing this. Keep in mind this isn't part of the reference image. I'm taking some artistic freedom with this and basically doing what I want. So I'm just coming in here and I'm going to take these new edge loops that I created right there, those connections. I'm going to chamfer those by a very small amount. Something like this looks pretty good. One segment is fine. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go to polygon mode. I'm going to select these polygon strips here. Now I'm going to go to my graphite modeling tools. I'm going to go to modify selection, grab the loop all the way around. I'm going to go to my extrude options here. I'm going to extrude these by local normal. And I'm going to extrude them into the mesh like so, just a bit. Just to kind of give it a little bit more detail right there. Make it look a little more interesting and not so bland. I'm going to take those back polygons that were created as a result of extruding in. I'm going to delete them. We don't need those. And I'm going to try to create something similar over here. So I'm going to grab that ring of edges up there. And I'm going to use the connect tool, connect that maybe 3 times, hit OK. Then I'm going to use the chamfer tool, chamfer that a little bit, something like that looks pretty good. I'll hit OK. Then I'm going to go to polygon mode, select these strips of polygons here, grab their loop all the way around, just confirm it real quick. I'm going to go ahead and extrude these by local normal. You can see how it's extruding them up. That's perfectly fine. I'll just take them manually and move them down. And that's a bit much. So something like that looks pretty good. I'm going to take the extra polygons that I created over here on the ends, and you probably guessed it, we're going to delete those. Okay, make sure you're deleting the correct polygons. And if we look at this, we've got something like this. Okay, but you know what? Let me edit that video. I made a mistake. Start again. 3, 2, 1. So just make sure that you do have those correct polygon strips selected. I'm going to go to my extrude tool, and I'm going to extrude this out. Instead of extruding it in, I'm going to extrude that outward just a little bit. I'm going to hit OK. You can see it extruded them at a kind of a funny angle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to move them up a bit, something like that. And that looks pretty good. So now we got kind of this detail that sticks out a little bit. We've got some extra polygons back here in the on the back side. So what I'm going to do is with polygon mode select, I'm going to activate my window crossing. I'm going to select all those back polygons, delete them, don't need them. Okay, so we end up with a valance that looks something like this. Pretty good. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hollow area in here. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to use the inset tool. I'm going to use the options. I'm going to inset this a bit, something like this looks pretty good. I'm going to take this back polygon right there, delete that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my transform typing tool. If you remember, F12 is the keyboard shortcut for that. I'm going to go to edge mode, select that edge. I'm going to steal its X coordinate. Come down here to this one. I'm going to paste that X coordinate right there so we end up with something like that. Then I'm going to take this polygon that we have in here. I'm going to extrude it. And I'm going to pull it in to about, let me see, about right here is probably going to be pretty good. So something like this will work out just fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that polygon that we have here. We should have a back polygon right there. I want to delete that. We don't need it. So we end up with something like this. Okay. So here's our window valance. And that's where we're going to be placing the curtain in the next few videos. Okay. So now that I have the valance pretty much set up, what I need to do is just a pivot point so I can quickly and easily place clone and place this valance all over the windows that we need to. So I'm going to take and snap the valance pivot point to right there. Just same exact technique we used with the window shades. So now it's just a process of cloning this and snapping it to that corner vertex. Okay. And just clone it, snap it to the corner vertex, etc., etc. So I'm going to skip ahead in the video and I'm going to go ahead and clone this to the other windows here and to any other windows that are exact same size. Also, when you go ahead and clone this guy over to the larger windows over here, see these windows right here? Obviously it's not going to fit. I'm not just going to scale it at random because it's not going to fit exactly to the window. So I'm going to use the same exact technique that we used in the previous video when we ran into the same situation with the purple window shades. I'm going to use that same technique to get the window valances to fit to the wider windows, okay? And the same technique is going to carry over to the windows in the back of the house over there, alright? So I'm going to skip ahead in the video. I'm not going to go over this again because I've already gone over it in the previous video. So I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to clone this stuff to all my windows. I recommend you do the same. And we'll meet up when we finish cloning all of our window valances here. That's weird, ain't it? This one's got the pivot point in the wrong place. Strange, huh? Oh, got that one nailed easily. All right. So, all right, buddy. Buddy. Use the slice modifier over here. Trim you by 90 degrees that way, and we're going to move you. So mirror this guy, copy, yes. Whoa, what the damn, Max is so weird. Does some strange things, man. Strange things. These guys close to each other. Put all that stuff together. And here we go. There we go. All right. Same deal. Get that slice. 1 degrees. Move it over to about right there. Collapse that guy. And take this guy here and mirror him over it and line make a copy. Stuff together. Done. Okay. Right there. Perfect. Alright, so I went ahead and I cloned the valances. I placed them on all the windows, okay, just to make them all look uniform. And this is what we end up with, okay. So one last thing here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the window valances here. Just the window valances. And I'm going to rename them. So I'm going to go to Tools here, and I'm going to use my Rename Objects tool. I'm going to go Selected, Base Name. I'm going to call these Window Valance. And I'm going to make them numbered. Base number will be 1, and we're good. So I'm going to hit Rename. Close that. Check on it real quick. Make sure that they got renamed. And yeah, here we go. Window Valance number 14, Window Valance number 15, etc., etc. Okay, so we've got that done. So the window valance is complete. Okay, so we're done with that. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and get started with doing the curtains and drapes for our windows. That's going to be very interesting, a lot different than what we've been doing so far. So I'll see you there.